The first time I made a generator, it didn't go very well. Like, at all. But that was mainly because the wires were a mess and it wasn't exactly smooth, only really being able to produce around about 1 millivolt. And so for this second design, I've used stronger magnets, neater wiring and a couple gears to try and increase the voltage, starting by making a frame that was a bit more structurally sound. Which did involve taking apart a windmill to get at some ball bearings. And which were then just hammered in place until they were secure. Or kind of secure. Although, to make this new generator better, I first need to understand what was wrong with the initial design, which comes down to 3 main components. First is the strength of the magnets, second is the distance between the magnets and the coils, and third is the RPM, the speed of rotations, or more accurately, the lack of speed. As well as also just the general build quality and the sort of tolerances just weren't very good. With the only real reusable part of this design being the copper in the coils, and a couple ball bearings. And then after the frame was assembled and then painted, I then moved on to making the 9 new coils, which are divided into 3 groups, 1 for each phase. And to minimise the distance from the copper to the magnets, the coil holder's thickness was reduced from 1mm to something a lot thinner. Although this did still require unwinding all of the coils and then rewinding them. But once I had the 9 new coils divided into their 3 groups, I could start working on the wiring, which this time had to be a lot neater, because in the previous design they kept on getting in the way of the magnets. And so here they pass through these little channels and travel along the outside of the generator, which when repeated for all 3 phases looks like this, allowing for a smooth surface next to the coils, letting the magnets get as close as possible. And so if we were to individually look at one phase and watch the magnets pass across one set of coils, we would see that the current is pushed in one direction, then the opposite, as the magnets move across the coils and the relative polarity changes, creating a positive-negative oscillating, alternating current. Then I 3D printed 2 magnet holders and a couple gears, with the smaller of the 2 being attached to the central axis, around which the rings of magnets will rotate, but they do have a spacer in between them to create a gap for the coils. But I did need to get the magnets out of the old disc, and after a rather heavy-handed approach, which didn't really work, I then just had to hack away and just tear this thing apart, literally having to rip the magnets out of place. And then, thankfully, I was able to retrieve all 24 magnets from this ruin, which I then added to another set of 24 magnets, allowing me to double up when I was adding them to the new disc, where I then just checked the magnetic polarity by ensuring that each alternate magnet was able to repel another. And then after adding all of the magnets into place, I got some insulating tape to make sure that they wouldn't fall out of place. Leaving me with 2 rings of magnets with quite a strong connection. Almost too strong, as I kind of struggled to get them apart. And I won't be doing that again. However, after adding in the spacer in between and then putting everything within the frame, the magnets didn't really stay in place. They kind of just tore right through the tape. So I had to add something a bit more industrial, But the issue is, this new duct tape had quite a lot of friction when it spun against the coils, so I had to add 2 layers of plastic, one to the magnet itself and one to the ring of coils, which did allow for everything to spin a bit smoother. And then once everything was fit nicely together and spun well, I could put everything back into the frame, where the ring of coils is secured to the frame with just a couple screws, and the rings of magnets sit on the shaft, which is connected to the 2 gears, with the final step being to connect everything up electronically, with the 3 groups of coils being connected to the 3 branches of the rectifier. And at this point I could connect a voltmeter and start spinning, which I was kind of expecting to be a bit smoother with the bearings, but then it worked a bit better once I started using a screwdriver as a handle. And I also thought it would be a good idea if I knew how fast this thing was spinning, so I added a sticker and counted the number of rotations. And with an RPM of 600, this thing does spin fairly fast, and should be able to make a good few volts. Hopefully.